Hi, I'm Miss Steer, and this is your bowing practice help video for the elementary all-county audition for the violin part. So before we play the actual piece, we're going to work on some of the slurs because there are a lot of different slurs in this one. So one basic slur that you have is the 2/8 note slur. So 2/8 notes in one bow, like in measure 9. You want to make sure you're really comfortable with moving 2 different fingers under one bow. You can also practice the other notes, like in measure 13. It's the same slur with 2 different notes. You have 2 of them in a row there. Or measure 14. So you can practice at home all of the different combinations. Open 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. And then you can go backwards. 3, 2, 2, 1, 1 open. The second type of slur we have is the 16th note slur. So we have 2 16th notes slurred together for this one, like in measure 2. The first 2 notes of that are 2 16th notes. It's kind of like the 8th note slur, except it's literally twice as fast. So if I were to practice those 2, I would isolate them by themselves, and I'd practice it a few times in a row. My next 2 16th notes are in measure 3, the F sharp G. The next measure. Okay, and it looks like those are all of my 2 slurred 16th notes. Then you have 4 16th notes that you need to slur, such as in measure 7. You want to practice going back and forth between those a few times. And those are your only 4 16th notes. So you can just practice those actual notes. You don't need any other patterns. Another slur that we have is the dotted 8th 16th note slur. Such as in measure 8. So measure 8, it occurs on beat 3. 3 E and A. 3 E and A. So you want to try to pluck and count those first, and then bow and count those, so you don't turn them into 8th notes by accident, like this, as opposed to 3 E and A. So here are your 8th notes, 3 and then here's the 16th note one, the one you want to do, 3 E and A. And then you can do the note after it too, just to make sure that you are really being true to your rhythm. So 3 E and A 4, 3 E and A 4. That same rhythm occurs in measure 21, except it's a different bowing now. It's not a slur this time. This time in 21, you have your hooked bowing. So you have a dotted 8th note hooked to a 16th note, and it sounds like this. Like that. So you stop the bow in between the 2 notes. So I added the extra note that time. The half note I added. And that's how you play that. It's the same rhythm as the slurred version. Just for fun, here's the slurred version of that. They're connected. This one, the hooked version, is not connected. And you can bow and count that also. 1 E and A 2. Again, 1 E and A 2. Okay, so then the next measure has the exact same rhythm. 1 E and A 2, like that. 1 E and A 2. The last measure has that rhythm also. 1 E and A 2. 1 E and A 2. So you want to make sure when you have that staccato da on that 16th note, you stop the bow right there. Okay. I think that covers all of the slurs in this piece. There's one more hooked bowing though. The hooked bowing happens, for instance, at measure 9. Beat 3, measure 9 is up, up. So it's not a slur. Again, you put the separation in between the 2 notes, like that. So if I played all of measure 9 for you, the first 2 notes are slurred, the second 2 notes are just up, down, they're separate, and the last 2 notes are up, up. That's your hooked bowing. You see that? Again. Okay. And those are all of your different fancy slurs and hooks. Now, it's easy to play quarter notes separately. It's hard to play 16th notes separately. So you only need to be in the middle of the bow and use a tiny bit of bow, whether you have 4 16th notes or only 2 in a row in this piece. So for instance, here's just an open A. Tiny bow. Now take a look at measure 6. Tiny bow still, you're just adding these notes. Okay, so you want to practice them really lightly a few times in a row. Then in measure 4, you have 2 16th notes that are not slurred. Be careful because you also have 2 slurred 16th notes in that measure, but right here, they're not slurred. So it's just 2 of them. It's even easier. If I did the whole measure, again, and that takes care of all the different types of bowings in this piece.